So, what is your current job title and how long have you been in this role?
Okay, so my job title is clinic manager of Cora Lake Nona and doctor of physical therapy at this clinic. And then what was the other question? I'm sorry.
How long have you been in this role?
I've actually been in this role for a year as clinic manager. I've been a physical therapist for 4 years now. So I actually just started working at this clinic about a year ago.
Oh.
So yeah, I was doing something different, not in orthopedics, and then I transitioned to orthopedic last year.
How do you like it?
I love it. So I was actually doing lymphedema before I transitioned here. So physical therapists can get trained in all sorts of things, and one of my specialties is lymphedema. I'm a lymphedema specialist is one of my job titles. Like if you look at my card, it's DPT and then CLT, that's a certified lymphedema therapist. So I actually did that for a long time. Loved working with oncology patients, breast cancer patients, ovarian patients, prostate cancer, all these kind of diagnoses. And then I actually needed to work a little closer to home because I was working out in Claremont. And I decided to apply here, which is like 5 minutes from my house. So I switched from lymphedema to orthopedic. So I love it. Very high paced. So the orthopedic world and lymphedema world are two separate things. Lymphedema is patients you're treating them one-on-one. Orthopedic world, you're treating about 3 or 4 patients an hour. So it's very different. So lymphedema, you see about 8 patients a day. Orthopedic, you might see 24 patients in one day. So very, very different settings.
Yeah. What is a typical day or even week for you in here?
So probably close to what the other question was. So my role is a little bit different because I'm also clinic manager. So I basically start my day by reading like 20 emails and then answering all the administrative emails, contacting like my staff or any issues that I might have, checking our schedule, making sure that we're staying efficient, that our insurances, we're staying on top of all that stuff. There's a lot of administrative side of physical therapy that you can get into. So my day actually starts with that, and then throughout the day I just continue to treat patients. So what's it called? Typically seeing anywhere roughly from 12 to 24 patients a day, depending what your caseload is. Certain insurances only allow you to see 1 patient an hour. Other insurances you can see 3 or 4 patients an hour. So it kind of depends on what your schedule looks like. And then in between, I'm calling physicians, calling nurse practitioners, clarifying referrals, calling patients to see how they're doing, calling work comp companies to make sure that my patients are progressing well, and letting them know that they're progressing okay. So a lot of multitasking, I guess is what the clinic would be.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Describe your career and educational path.
So it's probably just like everyone else. When I was little, I knew I wanted to help people. And then when I was 18, I got into UCF, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Something in the healthcare field. I got my bachelor's degree in radiological sciences. So x-rays, MRI, CT scans, nuclear medicine. And when I was 18, I was working at a nursing home, and there was a physical therapy, they do physical therapy at this nursing home too. And I found myself hanging out with a physical therapist all the time, because it was the best part of the patient's day. They got to move, stay active. If they were falling, they got better. If activity improves with depression and all these kind of things. So I actually ended up really loving it. And so I continued. I got my bachelor's degrees in radiological sciences, and then I applied to the PT program at UCF and got in. So it was just because I had a job as an activities person at a nursing home. That's how I got into physical therapy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for me?
Advice, okay. In your career as a student, you need to work really hard. PT schools are really competitive, very, very competitive. Some schools are better than others, so you want to make sure you want to try to get into the better ones, better education, more research, you get to learn a lot more. So as a student, work really hard, make sure you're well-rounded in regards to not only academically, but what you're doing involvement at school, extracurricular activities and things like that. Because PT programs, they care about your grades, that's a huge one, but they also want to make sure that you are someone who cares about their community. So they want to make sure that you're active, that you're involved. that you're fighting for your community. So that's really important when you're a student. And then as you go from there, just making sure that you're staying focused on, because PT programs are very difficult, that you know that your goal is to be able to help someone in the end, and you just have to get through the really hard PT student program stuff to get through it. That's probably my biggest advice, and just making sure that you continue to find things that you love, because the program's going to get hard, everything's going to get harder, classes are going to get hard, and you have to make sure that if you like going for a bike ride, you make sure you keep doing that, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you like sane as you're going through this stuff. So just working hard, making sure you're staying well-rounded, and then just keeping focused that you got into this program or you got into PT because you love helping people. Because some people just get into it because they think it makes good money, when in reality it just really doesn't. You do it because you really you care about people, you like talking to people, and you just want to make sure that you get them better. So that's pretty much. Is that good?
That's it.
Okay. Cool.